What's up, everybody? Welcome back
McClunky.
to Unplayable. We're about to see that. We're obviously going to talk about some more spoilers right now. There are so many. We had to split this up into 2 videos. Yes, it did. So we're just going to get right started here. We're going to talk about...
You know what's so funny about, like, obviously, well, Jim probably doesn't even know the lore behind that, but it's funny because it wasn't originally in the movie. So they have a card for a quote that is like added way after.
Yeah, for like a 2012 special edition or something.
So funny.
Which we'll get to when we get to that card. But
do we need to break it down for Jim because he doesn't understand?
Break it down for me and for like the 2 other people watching who don't get it.
You know what? We're gonna talk about that card first. I'm switching the order. We're gonna talk about McClunky.
Perfect.
All right, so we've got a 1-cost yellow card. It's an event. It's an underworld. It's a trick. Return a friendly non-leader underworld unit to its owner's hand. If you do, deal 3 damage to a unit. Now, before we get into the card and what it does,
good card,
all that, Jay, tell us about McClunky.
Have you heard of Han shot first? Like,
yeah,
people
and
say that.
I see the laser going into Greedo before, like, clearly he's trying to shoot. So, go ahead.
Yeah, so back in the original movie, Han just like straight up just like boom,
just
shoots
murders him.
Just kills him. And in order to portray him as less of a like villainous person, what they do is they edit it so that Greedo shoots at him first and then Han immediately shoots him back. And you can see like they shift Han's head like this. To where it dodges the bullet, but it looks super unnatural because it's just like edited like that, so his neck looks broken, and he yells McClunky when he does that.
Oh,
but they didn't add the McClunky until
later. Yeah, so first they edited it to do that, and then way later they edit him saying McClunky.
Yeah,
but why McClunky?
You're gonna have to ask George Lucas.
Oh my word! Okay,
I think this was Disney.
Or somebody else. Is this Disney?
I think this was Disney. This was when they uploaded it to Disney Plus.
I knew the whole Han shot first thing. I did not realize that's what he said.
That was that recent?
That's pretty crazy. Sure.
Okay. Wow. Okay. If you look at the art, we're going way off the rails with this already. But does Greedo actually get a shot off in the movie?
Yes.
Even in the original?
Oh, no. He doesn't shoot in the original. Han just straight up is like, boom.
Yeah.
Kills him.
That's what I remember. But Greedo is shooting here.
Yeah. Like Jim said.
If this is indeed Greedo.
Like Jim said, the bullet is already hitting Greedo before Greedo shoots. So still technically.
So still Han shot first.
Han shot first. Well, because it wasn't Han was the only one that shot. It's that he shot first, which means you would imply somebody shot after. So
I suppose. Okay, well, the card itself.
McClunky.
What do we think about this card?
Finally, some Underworld synergy.
Yeah, which is pretty sick. Underworld synergy plus like pay 1, deal 3 damage seems kind of good.
This seems
obviously
nuts.
You play this with Greedo, right? Like,
yeah, play with Greedo. You bounce your Greedo, you deal 3. Like that seems good.
Yeah, I think it's a good card.
Or like your crafty smuggler, you like attack him with a crafty smuggler. It lost its shield, you bounce it, deal 3. Like that seems good.
I like it a lot with Greedo because there's that like I don't really want to attack into it and have it deal its when defeated ability, which could theoretically do 2 more damage to you. So the fact that this just gets around that, you now having to think that many more steps of this little 1-cost unit that can just wreck your board.
It's also a trick for Jabba.
Yeah. So you can play it for free too.
Yeah. And you can fetch it when you play Jabba. Another thing you can do is like you play Greedo turn 1 plus another 1 cost or whatever. Turn 2 you play the pirated guy. Bounce Greedo. Play Greedo back down.
Play this.
Can you?
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you can. No, you can't.
Can you? No, you can't.
Okay, ignore everything I just said. There's some combination of those 3 cards that is a cool play. You just gotta figure it out for yourself. I'm not gonna give you all the answers. You gotta do your own math. Okay, show your work. Show your work, please.
I also like if somebody tries to lane dodge you that this gets around it because it just says 2A unit, not like in that arena.
That's cool.
Right.
That's cool too.
So the fact like they play a Green Squadron, you play Greedo, and then you can like pop Greedo
just turn
back
1, kill their A-wing. Bring Greedo back to your hand, play it next turn. That's pretty cool.
Is the pirated a neutral?
Yes.
Okay, you do in Han. That's how you do it. You put a card down. You could
Yeah,
actually
you
technically
figured it
turn
out.
one.
Yep.
You could do that. Play Greedo, play the pirated, bounce Greedo. Go into turn 2, have Greedo plus this or something. Like Greedo, play this, bounce Greedo, play Greedo again.
Nailed it.
Yeah. I wonder if there will ever be like an infinite combo loop that's something that you can do with bounce effects. I hope not, but that would be cool.
Oh, you're talking about Lorcana now. You're talking about Madam Mims and
Yeah, please no. Please stop.
Merlin goats.
Make it stop.
Coach, you ain't got no goats in this game yet.
No goats in Star Wars, that's for sure.
Make it
Just
stop.
blue milk.
All right, we're going to the next card, which is now, it was the first card, but now second card. It's L337. It's a 2-cost yellow hero card. It's a ground unit, and she's a 2/2 underworld droid. When played, you may rescue a captured card. If you don't, give a shield token to this unit, and she has a smuggle cost of 4.
I like this. I like this a lot.
Yeah, she's sweet.
Just completely ignoring the smuggle. It's literally just crafty.
Yeah,
like
but
heroic
hero.
crafty. Like I would totally play this in my Sabine yellow deck right now, I think. 2 costs.
Oh, yeah.
2/2 with the shield. Like I would love to play that. And she has the benefit that you can rescue a captured card if you want, which is probably pretty decent.
Yeah.
If capture is popular.
I like that it's a May ability, just the fact that you always get that option. Because maybe you don't want that captured unit back yet. Yeah, as
Totally.
a crafty smuggler, very cool.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. She's
This
just cool.
works with McClunky too, so
Oh,
it's
she's Underworld.
essentially
That's right.
the same thing as the crafty play. Except
It's got flexibility there too, because if your opponent captures one of your units, like you can bring this back and then rescue it if you needed to.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
or
There's
you
cool
could,
things
or
do
you
with this
can
card.
like bounce it and then also resource it because you'll be able to smuggle it out later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I
That's
think this
cool.
card's pretty sweet.
That's really cool. All right, next up we've got Relentless Pursuit. It's a 3-cost yellow event. It's a tactic. Choose a friendly unit. It captures an enemy non-leader unit that costs the same as or less than it. If the friendly unit is a bounty hunter, give a shield token to it.
All right,
That is so much text.
3 cost capture,
It's a lot of text.
which is the same as the one we saw earlier, and
So,
but it's got cost same or less than the unit that you're capturing. But if it's
Yeah.
a bounty hunter, you get to give it a shield.
yeah, and
Does-
the previous card was had to be in the same arena.
This
This
is
has to
not.
be cost same or less. So, and it doesn't have to be in the same arena.
I think
Oh, that's
if
cool.
you're playing bounty hunters, I think this is better than that one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Having
Yeah.
that flexibility is awesome.
And getting the,
The
shield,
shield.
is really, really
The
good.
shield-
Like it, you capture the
makes
thing
it
and you
harder.
immediately make it harder for them to rescue the thing that you captured.
Yeah, I agree. I think this one's kind of sweet, and it's got
Like-
Cad Bane on it, so it's just like,
Yeah, could be hinting at that. I mean, like we've seen already, like some bounty hunter leaders that this would be good on,
Yeah.
right? Like Boba Fett, this would trigger Boba Fett's ability as well. And you put this on Boba Fett, give him a shield, like that's pretty wild. Same with Mando, like you put this on Mando, give Mando a shield, exhaust something, like later in the turn. Like I don't know, there's some cool stuff here for sure. I think this card's powerful.
I do too. I think it's good. Good stuff.
Are we ready to move to the next card?
Yep.
All right.
All right, this card is wild. We've got Tech. Tech is a 3-cost hero ground unit, and he is a 2/5 fringe clone. Each friendly resource gains smuggle. The gained smuggle cost is that card's cost plus 2 and its aspect icons. And it itself has smuggle 4 plus heroic aspect icon.
This guy, all right, if there's any card we've seen so far that has the potential of being broken, it's
Yeah,
this
it's
one,
this.
right?
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
One clarification is that if the card already has smuggle, it gains this smuggle cost in addition to the other one. So you can pay either way to do the smuggle. This guy is pretty sick. I do wish he was a 3-power. 2-power is kind of rough for a 3 cost, because then he would be similar to like Boba Fett and stuff, where it's like 3/5, which feels good for a 3 cost.
If this was a 3/5, wouldn't that be just like...
So insane.
This would go in literally every hero deck ever.
Yeah.
Maybe.
For forever. It already might. I don't know.
I do really love that it's only heroic, so the card is white in addition to his armor being white. It just makes the card
Yeah,
look
that-
really freaking cool.
I agree.
him having 5 health makes him hard to like just immediately deal with too. So that is actually nice. I mean, obviously there's takedown, but you're only paying 3 for this guy, so you don't feel as bad for him being takedown.
Yeah.
I think I like this a lot more in control decks actually, because like that's where having more cards and more options helps you so much that I think this allows you to have those answers just kind of laid out, because you're not as worried about like resource management in control games. So I think this actually gives Heroic a lot more flexibility with that.
So what are you playing off of this?
I mean, we can start with the Vanquish for 7. It doesn't feel good, but you're just like, hey, let me at least just have that option down in there. A lot of control builds right now have 1 or 2 copies of cards just to have that option. You could have your restock. You put it as a resource, and then you know that they're not going to vigilance it.
Yeah, I was gonna say restock.
Yeah,
probably.
that's cool. I like that. We could go on forever about like what this card could do. There's so like literally every single card in the set, right? So
You don't play this on turn 2.
Nope.
Right? Like you're wanting to play this later in the game.
if you got 3, I don't see why
I say you
couldn't.
don't want to, but yeah, it's fine.
It also has smuggle, so you can resource 1 to play it for later
Yeah.
as well. I don't know. I like a 2/5 for 3 is like, I don't know, maybe not insane, but reasonable sometimes. I
like
think
this
this card's
card a lot.
crazy. Somebody's gonna break this card. It's
Yep.
gonna be nuts, and yeah, you're probably
Pretty
gonna see it a
sick.
lot. All right, we're moving on
Next
to another leader. Yeah, so this leader was revealed on Twitter, I believe, and it is Hunter from the Bad Batch, Jim's favorite show.
Love Bad Batch.
It's
I've seen
got-
1 episode.
It is great.
Yeah.
It just ended. I love Bad Batch. So, Hunter, he's a green hero leader. He has the action, pay 1 and exhaust him, reveal a resource you control. If it shares a name with a friendly unique unit, return the resource to its owner's hand and put the top card of your deck into play as a resource. He has an epic action. If you control 7 or more resources to play this leader, then when he's deployed, he is a 7-cost 5/8 Fringe clone with Overwhelm. And on attack, you may reveal a resource you control. If it shares a name with a friendly unique unit, return the resource to its owner's hand and put the top card of your deck into play as a resource.
Okay.
Someone sell me on this card.
There's a
That's
lot
hard.
to unpack there.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a card that you want to be playing with a bunch of unique units. One thing that is interesting about this guy, before we dive too much, is that the further into the game we get, the cooler he'll be, because you can play different versions of the same
Yeah.
and reveal, like, I don't know, if we have like 3 different versions of a Sabine unit and you can reveal a Sabine to do, like, pick up a different version of a Sabine, then I think it's a lot more viable than it feels like it is right now with such a small card pool. But like, pay 1 to draw a card is never bad.
I would argue that this isn't actually pay 1 to draw a card, though.
Agreed.
Like, because you're not drawing a random card from your deck, which might be better than what you're drawing from this. And then the other thing is, like, you have to have that unique unit on the board, and it has to live, and it has to, like, I don't know, it has to match the unit that you want to get back to your hand from your resource row.
I
It's-
hear you. I hear you.
I think this
Coach.
card's terrible.
Yeah, because like you draw it, but then you can't even play it because you have the unique unit out there that's preventing you from playing the new one.
that would be where different versions of the same character comes in.
Right. It's just in set 2 that's not.
Yeah, it's not a viable thing to do.
So yeah, I'm very curious kind of what's in this set or in this game that makes this card be like, that's a cool idea for a leader. I'm very curious where they're going with it.
Maybe we'll get a morph, and it's just counts as
Okay,
every
counts
type
as
of
every unique character.
type of. This has every name.
I don't know like what you want to do with this leader either. Like, what kind of deck does this fit in? Like, it's flipping on 7, which you're never getting to, and it's like a 5/8, which is like Darth Vader stats on like a clone. Like, I don't know. I don't.
Is this
really
a
get this
cool
card.
leader for like Twin Suns in the future?
Maybe.
Because it can't be right now, right? Because
Yeah.
you literally can only have 1 of each in your deck right now.
Yeah.
But in the future, maybe.
Maybe.
But with Twin Suns, just like you said, like, okay, you have 2 total cards that are Sabine Wrens, maybe 3 to 4 max.
Well, we're talking 10 years from now when
Yeah.
you could play an 80 card Sabine deck. So like,
Yeah.
you know, there's like
That is a Christmas land that I want to be a part
20
of.
different
But-
Sabines that come out. I mean, in the next 10 years, there could be 20 different Sabines, right? Like that's not unreasonable to think about.
Or even
And
if
then,
there's like
you know.
4 versions of a few characters that you can play into your
Sure.
deck. Like,
Yeah.
that's still.
I mean, we know. I mean, I guarantee
terrible.
there's gonna be a million versions of Luke, right? There's gonna be a million versions of Han. There's gonna be a million versions of like Leia. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
I think that is a reasonable sort of like place for this card to exist, but it feels weird to go into a set 2 of a game. I think I wish that it's like that he came out sooner and his stats were better, because then at least like he'd be interesting on his leader side at all.
Yeah.
I feel like he's too late to do anything really that interesting, and he also doesn't really help you get to the late game, because if you're spending a resource just drawing cards every turn, like you're just wasting resources doing nothing.
Well, let's see what else we got, Coach.
All right.
See what else.
Let's
He is
move
in
on to the
green.
next card.
He is in green, which is the like ramp faction.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's a bummer because like Hera's
But it's
already a
hero.
green hero leader. That
I think
like,
this is
has some weird.
this feels like the Hera of the set, but worse.
Oh yeah,
But-
I mentioned that. All the green hero are like the tribal synergies.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to Echo. Echo is cool. Echo is a 4-cost ground unit. It's green hero. He's a 4/4 fringe clone with Restore 2, and when played, you may discard a card from your hand, give 2 experience tokens to a unit in play with the same name as the discarded card. So, I mean, you may think that that's Hunter synergy, but I don't actually think it is.
It technically could be, but
It
you're not
technically
playing
is,
this
but I don't-
because of Hunter.
Yeah, I
you're
don't-
playing
I don't
this
think it
because
makes
it's
Hunter
a
good.
cool card, right?
I think this card's nuts.
Okay, so the idea is on turn 5, you've already resourced an Echo. You use. Oh wait, you have to play Echo first,
Yeah, you
right?
just play Echo first, so that doesn't work. That doesn't even work.
Okay.
So you had to like get back the card that you want to play like the turn before.
Interesting.
I don't.
But just imagine, just like, okay, take Hunter out of the equation, because I truly don't think that he's good or worth considering. I think this card on its own is insane, though.
I think I'm playing Hunter next set. This is what you just told me.
Are you D house?
I think I'm playing Hunter, and I'm gonna figure
Someone's
out
gotta be.
how to do it. Like,
All right,
it's gonna
if somebody
be
can
very-
make Hunter work.
skill rewarding by being a good hand management player, and that's where I shine, Coach.
Okay,
So
yeah, all right. Let's
I
make
want
it
to
happen.
hear. I want to hear how you say this card's insane though, because I'm
You
not
don't think
seeing
this is
it.
good?
you already have an Echo in hand. You pay 4, you get a 6/6
Yeah, you get a
or
6/6
restore 2.
2 for 4.
Again, that's if you have 2 Echoes in hand. Where this game,
How
you
many
only have
times have you drawn like 2 Falcons in hand or
right,
like
but I'm not
2
like
red,
relying on that to put this card
Well,
in my
but
deck because there's only 3 copies of each card. That means you'd have to have 2 out of the 3 in your hand at the same time. You're now losing a card in your hand, which is significant to get that +2. I like it. I think if there's a way to build around it, it's really cool. So I almost have to consider it the 4/4
it's not
restore
only-
2.
It's not only Echo though. Like you have any unit in play, you
Right.
discard a card from your hand that matches any of those units. So it has a lot of flexibility there. Like
Yeah, I do think that having to discard a card from hand though is a very significant like penalty to make this happen.
yeah, but
I don't know. It's basically a
spending the
zero
card to
cost
give it to
medal
experience,
ceremony,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
arguably better.
Okay.
yeah, because you get it immediately when you play the card. I think
mean,
like you.
Even at 4 cost 4/4 restore 2 is good. I think even without the when played.
That I can agree with for sure.
In these colors too, like, I mean, we're gonna bring up ECL again, but like, like you can ECL a 6/6 restore 2.
Yeah, and obviously that is nuts.
I mean,
I'm not gonna
in
deny
that scenario,
for a
it's really good. I think the ceiling is really high, and I think the floor is like playable. Like,
second. Okay.
right? Like, I don't know. It also can match your leader, right? If you're playing Sabine leader, you can discard Sabine unit from your hand to give Sabine leader +2.
Yeah,
experience.
that's what I was looking
Like-
for. That's what I was looking for.
I got you.
Like on that same turn that she comes out. So
Yeah,
this is
that's
like
a good
wing
point.
leader, but better on that turn if you have Sabine in hand.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, it's pretty spicy actually.
I don't know. Cards like this, I think, just like get better over time.
Yeah, kind
And-
of like Hunter.
That's crazy.
Unlike Hunter. All right, we've got next card. We've got Death Watch Loyalist.
Another Grand Inquisitor card.
It's
Jim,
a
look out.
3 cost red villain ground unit, 3/3 with grit and overwhelm. Mandalorian Trooper.
What you think, Jim? Are you putting this in your Grand Inquisitor deck to hit for 5 on turn whatever
I am with upgrades.
with the
I think-
upgrades?
I think 3/3 grit overwhelm seems really cute, but really hard to pull off reasonably. But yeah, even getting to play this on turn 2 and deal 5 damage is still good. So aggro Grand Inquisitor, yes, absolutely count me in.
Is this better than Fifth Brother?
It's kind of similar.
I would say it just depends what route you're
Probably
going
not.
with the tribal synergy, because Fifth
Fifth
Brother's cool
Brother
because of force.
only has 2 attack, and usually like when they swing into him, they like
they
get
kill
a
it.
positive trade because he doesn't have grit.
Right.
He just has the raid plus raid when he has damage on him.
But you can only ready this once with Grand Inquisitor.
Exactly. And so that's where in an aggro side of things, if I'm going like, I am trying to kill you as fast as possible, I like this better. But I think Fifth Brother having that availability, like on the turn,
Is
Grand
Fifth Bro a
Inquisitor
2/4
comes
or 2/5?
2/4.
4.
So you can only ready him once too.
I'm saying like the turn Grand Inquisitor comes out, you can deal
Oh.
2 damage, then 1 damage, get cute there. But I'm probably building Grand Inquisitor to be very aggressive moving forward, and this card feels more natural for that playstyle.
Yeah, I like it. I think like, yeah, if you can ready this, deal 5, and then make your opponent trade into a unit that has 5 attack.
That's the one thing that I don't like about Fifth Brother on turn 2, being like doing the Grand Inquisitor thing. Is like they always just trade into him and don't lose a unit, which feels terrible.
But like, if you have both of them in your deck, it increases like the density of cards that allow you to just like deal 5 damage to your opponent's base, like with 1 card. So it's like
And-
if you imagine all those cards would just deal 5 to your opponent's base once per turn.
Yeah.
I also like that,
not
like
bad.
with the Overwhelm, like if they play a turn 2 Sentinel, like if they have the cell block card, if they have the Echo based Defender,
Yeah.
like this still is doing a good amount of work
Something.
against that and pushing your objective there. So
Yeah,
I
it's
really
cool.
do think aggressive Grand Inquisitor is about to get nasty.
Yeah, I like it. I think this is pretty good. All right, let's move on to Ruthlessness. It's a 1-cost red villain upgrade. Attached unit gains. When this unit attacks and defeats a unit, deal 2 damage to the defending player's base. Gives it +2.
Very cool
Attack.
card.
Sorry, +2 attack.
I mean, 1 for 2 attack is kind of sick.
Yeah, it's not, that's already not bad.
That's not nothing.
I immediately was like, does this just go straight into Grand Inquisitor? And it's like, it probably still does. You can't do the like play this, attack, then ready, but it's still sick. The other thing that we looked at with this card was like cards that had the on attack trigger, like Seven Sister and the Darth Vader Leader.
Those don't work.
Those do not work with this. It should say Defender essentially,
Yeah.
rather than defeat a unit, because you're like, oh, I dealt damage to their base, therefore I get to deal 3 damage and kill a ground unit, but that does not work with this card.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, for this ability to work, there has to be a defending unit that dies.
But having a card with Overwhelm, like you're
Yeah.
ecstatic. The fact that
Overwhelm
this
is
can
sweet.
do
Like
that.
this is just extra damage, right? Like this is just straight to base, and it's like 4 extra damage for 1 if you play it on an Overwhelm unit.
Right.
So that's pretty sweet.
The art is sick.
Yeah, the art's sick.
Oh yeah. I want
Yeah.
some hyperspaces of this card for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this card. All right, well, we can move on to the next card, which is Casca Reeves. Casca Reeves is a red hero ground unit. She's a 4/5 Mandalorian trooper, and on attack, if this unit is upgraded, you may deal 2 damage to a ground unit.
I
Pink
think this
damage
might
in red.
be, this. I mean, 4 cost 4/5 is pretty good stats.
Yeah, it's already pretty decent. Yeah,
I kind of like it. I think
she's
it
got
works well with
a
the
relevant trait.
with the upgrade synergy. I think it's pretty sweet.
Is there like a wing leader style of thing with Mandalorians yet? Is that in this game?
I don't
I don't
think
think
we've
so.
seen anything like that yet.
Because there's a lot of this like when upgraded type stuff on the Mandalorian pieces, which I know they have a lot of just upgrades you're wanting to play anyway on them, but I want experience to be available for these guys to let those things happen a lot easier.
The thing about
Echo.
this unit, Echo. The thing about this unit is like, if they don't immediately deal with it via like takedown, since it's a 4 resource turn, and you upgrade it, it is going to be hard to deal with. And it's just going to be destroying your ground units.
Yeah.
This in
It's-
Bo-Katan does seem really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of extra damage that you're dealing to just random units. Yeah, I mean, you can play this in Luke and give her a shield. That's kind of fun. You could play this with the blue base and give it a shield with the blue base. That's also kind of fun. So, like, there are easier ways to give certain units upgrades than playing them in your deck. All right, we can move on to the next one. We've got a few more. This one is Cripple Authority. 2-cost red hero trick event. Draw a card. Each opponent who controls more resources than you discards a card from their hand.
Pretty spicy. I think if Han becomes a super played deck, then
Ooh.
this could like destroy
Just
Han.
Rex Han.
because he's already going card disadvantage, and then he's also ramping, like always gonna have more resources than you if they use his ability.
There are turns in games where like you go down to one card in hand and it's your like 1 7-cost card that you want to be able to play upon. This would just destroy you. That's ugly.
How reasonable is that? Are you playing this in like your aggressive decks? Are you playing this like where are you playing this card?
Like either you're playing this in an aggro deck like Sabine yellow, where you like spark plus this just to like shut your opponent's hand down and they just don't do anything for the rest of the game, or you're playing it in like a hand hate deck like Cassian, where you're gaining
that could be cool.
Card advantage via Cassian plus this, and then you're also playing like Spark of Hopes or Spark of Rebellion. I keep calling it the Destiny expansion or set was called Spark of Hope.
Yeah, obviously against like green where they're ramping anyway, like this is very easy to pull off. But yeah, I was just curious. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a card that I'll definitely like think about a lot, but I'm not immediately excited about it.
There's a couple things that I like. One is that like it is card advantage, right? You're drawing a card off of this and your opponent is losing a card, so you're like 1 card up on them. I think that it's more of a late game card than anything, because like I don't know, if you're doing this in the earlier parts of the game, like you're not playing units,
right?
That feels weird. You also like the requirement is kind of weird, like your opponent has to have more resources than you. It makes me wonder if there's a way to give your opponent resources or temporary resources or something like that.
No.
Like
no, you just play Sabine yellow, you stop at 4 or 5.
You stop. Yeah. Like I get that version of it, but that doesn't seem that exciting to me.
Yeah, we'll see though. It's one that I'm gonna ponder for a while, but I don't know if it's slotting into much right now.
I think if like control or mid-range decks that waste cards is like a thing, then this gets really strong.
Maybe you play this in a red-yellow hero deck, and you go to 8 resources, and you play Lando. You grab this from your resource row. Now you have less than your opponent, and then you get to discard a card from the hand and draw a card.
I dig it.
He's on to something.
That's where it is.
In Jin Urso, which is about to take over the meta.
Exactly.
Let's go.
See, you get it. All right, 2 more cards. We've got Omega.
Here we go.
She is a 2-cost ground unit, yellow hero, 2/2 fringe clone. Ignore the aspect penalty on the first clone unit you play each round. And when played, search the top 5 cards of your deck for a clone card, reveal it, and draw it.
All right.
So if there are clone traded cards that are not units, something to keep in mind in the future.
Very cool card. I am not a huge fan of the ignore penalty thing being on a 2/2. Because it's so easy to deal with.
Yeah.
And then it's like if you are playing towards this and you draw an out of aspect clone and then they immediately answer this, then it feels really bad.
Yeah, then you're sad.
But I do really like the synergy there, along with the synergy that you have with Hunter if you're playing Hunter, to be able to grab the card that you want to be able to do the thing. Or Echo. Or whoever.
Probably better with Echo than Hunter.
Yeah, Echo, whatever. Same combos, okay? But yeah, I mean, it's a cool card.
I'm going to be sad when this is my rare in a pack, I'm going to be honest.
I don't know. A 2/2 that draws a card?
If you're not playing the clones,
What
then
do you mean
obviously.
does it? Yeah. It like literally draws a card. Just don't put this in deck where you're not playing clones, right? Like why?
Or just don't put this in decks.
I mean, that's fine too. But like, I don't think you can say like that this card doesn't do anything. It's not just like a vanilla 2/2, right? Like
sure, you're right.
I do think
2/2 draw a card.
Yeah, it's 2/2 draw a card, and potentially like your opponent feels like they have to answer it because they don't want you to get the ignore aspect penalty, right? Like I don't think it's an amazing card. I don't think this is like breaking the game, but I don't think that like I don't know. I wouldn't just like dismiss this card, right? Like I think there's something there.
I'm curious, like how many clones do you need in your deck to reasonably draw a card every time?
I don't know. It's like probably like high 20s or 30, something like that.
So that's
you need
what
a
it's
good
like
amount of close.
Yeah, it's like I would need a deck around clone synergy for me to like.
I mean, if you're playing
like look at the
Echo,
card though.
Yeah,
like
if you're playing this card, you're playing clone synergy.
The card says the word clone on it 3 times. Like
sure,
you're not playing this in a deck that's not a clone synergy deck.
Okay, I'll be excited when I see it.
I don't even know if it exists. I'm just saying, like, why would you play this card in a deck that doesn't have clones?
That's like saying,
like, that's why, the whole point of the card.
You're playing Hera, but you're not playing any out of aspects.
You're not playing any Specters.
Specters.
It's like, why would you play Hera?
Right, but that's on the leader, so it's easier to build around, in my opinion. Where I don't know. I think I'm just so turned off by the ignore the aspect penalty part of a 2/2/2 that I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think you play towards that. I think you play towards
so
like you'd play it to draw a clone.
Yeah,
I'm just curious
too. It's Mon Mothma, but it's a 2/2 instead of a 1/3.
Yeah, I'm just like, why is that on the card then? Because it's like, why would I build my
for
deck
synergy? Well, and because she has to bring together all the Bad Batch. Mm-hmm. You don't. Okay, you need to watch the Bad Batch, and then you'll actually understand.
So then I'm attached and I care. Yeah.
Well, because it's thematic. Like, why? I mean, you can say that about any number of cards that are in this game. There are choices that the designers make just for theme, right? And this is one of those.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So
yeah, I'm assuming that all of the Bad Batch will not be in the same color, and that's why they have it.
Well,
like this.
Yeah, we've got Echo in green, we've got Crosshair in green villain, we got Wrecker, which I think is on here next, is red.
Yeah, you can go ahead and go to it.
Yeah, all right.
Tech is white.
Tech is white, so that would already work. But that's it, right? That's all the Bad Batch people. All right, well, let's talk about Wrecker. So Wrecker is a red hero ground unit, cost 6. It's a 7/6 with Overwhelm. And when played, you may defeat a friendly resource. If you do, deal 5 damage to a ground unit. And it's a fringe clone. Oh, hey, here's another way to trigger Cripple Authority.
Yeah.
You defeat your own resource with Wrecker.
There you go. It's that easy. Destroying your own resource is pretty brutal in this game, but maybe it's totally worth dealing 5 damage to a ground unit.
Yeah, and like a 7/6 Overwhelm is really good. So it's like...
It's a lot of damage.
It's a lot of
Energy
damage.
Conversation Lab.
That's right.
With Overwhelm.
That's right.
Seems good.
Kills all the 7 health leaders that exist. Of which there are many.
And the fact that you could do that and kill another unit is that much cooler to kind of bounce. Like, you're only doing that when you're like very behind and in need. But it is an option with this card.
Like Han, if you're playing red Han, on turn 5 where Boba comes out, you can put a resource down and then put this out there.
Yeah.
Oh wait, well you have to be playing.
I mean,
green.
you'd have to defeat your you'd have to be playing. Oh yeah, that wouldn't work with Han.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, because you have to play green, yellow, and red there. Yeah.
That against the Boba turn though is just good. Like, I don't know. This would come out the turn
Boba's
after
coming
Boba
out.
comes
Yeah, or 2 turns after if you're not ramping.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
So, I do think it's good though. Like, I think it's a very aggressively statted card.
Yeah.
If there are more ways to give your units ambush, then this gets better.
Yeah.
Like there's the one card that we've seen in this set already that it costs 1 and gives a unit ambush. Mm-hmm. I mean, then you're paying 7 for this and defeating a resource. But, well, I guess you don't have to defeat the resource, but I don't know. I feel like you just kind of have to pay attention when something has Overwhelm and this much attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's got a lot of health. He doesn't get takedown, which is nice.
Yeah.
I think it's a good unit, honestly.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so too. Cool. Do we have anything else that we want to say about these cards?
Nope.
All right. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed watching this, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.